Pine Tree Gardens is actually two houses, Pine Tree Gardens West and the other Pine Tree Gardens East. My mother, Pat Williams, started them because my two brothers were both schizoaffective. That's bipolar and schizophrenic symptoms. And back in 1967, when their illness started being expressed, there were no board and cares, there were no programs, and my mother watched my brothers decompensate, and both my brothers experienced homelessness because they couldn't handle the mental illness symptoms that beset them and caused them to not be able to handle reality in a safe way. Now, I'm really pleased that there are 28 residents who are able to have the best life that they can here, and I don't want to lose that.
My son became ill when he was 16. He's 27 now. So he's a young man. Unlike some people who live here or have mental health impairments, my son had none of that growing up. He was a 4.0 student at private schools in Sacramento. He always had the best education. And then when he turned 16, we started to see strange signs, starting with all of a sudden C's and then a D. And so we knew something was wrong. And then I came home one day and he was very depressed and would not promise me that he wouldn't hurt himself. That's what started the first hospitalization. I took him to Sutter Center for Psychiatry and got him into what they called a partial program. And from there, the symptoms just morphed. Once the doctor finally identified him properly, diagnosed him properly, we were able to get the medication we needed to stabilize him. It's called schizoaffective disorder. So you have to treat both the psychosis and the mood with different medications. But then environment was so important. Some of the places that he lived at, the facilities were not clean. They were infested with either roaches or other just unacceptable issues on the premises. And then some of the places I would myself standing there witnessed them speaking to the residents in ways that I felt inappropriate, either yelling at them or telling them to go back to your room. When we found this place, Pine Tree Gardens, I called, there was an opening, and as far as I'm concerned, I would like this to be his forever home until which time he can get to a place maybe of living independently. And this is the longest place actually that we've been able to stay. And he's calm, he's easily managed. He has his moods just like anyone else, but he's medication compliant. And I credit all of that to the care that Carlos and Deidre have provided him.
I've been trained by a lot of great people, so we have the do whatever it takes attitude, so that if a client's having a hard time and it cannot be resolved with PRN medications, which are medications that are provided to work pretty quickly, then we will do whatever we need to. There's been times where I've had a client who was having such a hard time, we were thinking that he would have to go back to the hospital, but we ended up sitting with him every night, staff taking turns. He laid on the couch, we sat on the other end, and we did that for a week, and we were able to prevent hospitalization.
Pine Tree helped me a lot. Pine Tree Gardens really, really helped me. Before 23 years, I was in and out of hospital, and I was drinking and smoking and not eating right for a long time. I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. So it's a miracle how I changed. You know what I mean? I grew up a little bit.
I like to be around others and talk with them sometimes. Sometimes we sit around and laugh and stuff and just talk about just anything. Things we have in common, things we don't have in common.
I had no idea how wonderful this experience was. My coping skills are getting better. I'm learning to deal and cope with the voices that I had to deal with. I didn't know, but there are other people dealing with this, and we can work together and do it here.
I really like this house. I like the family environment that Deidre and Carlos create with the way they run things. And I like the people I live with, which has made it possible for me to be in this house. They basically make it feel like a family environment.
My life without this place, I would probably be homeless, because that's where I was headed before I came here. I'm glad that this place exists for me.
I'm really pleased with how Pine Tree Gardens has continued the family model where people are really feeling cared about and loved. Because my family did that. My mom based this on my family. We all had chores to do. We had a list. We'd load the dishwasher, or we'd set the table, any number of household things that you need to have done so the household is functioning in a good way.
It makes them feel like it's a home. In a home, if you have children, they have to help with chores. That makes them feel vested in the place. It makes them feel like this is normal for my son. He's supposed to help. If I ask him to sweep the back patio, he's supposed to help me sweep the back patio. Keeping the place clean and well managed is part of what a family member does. I've never seen it not clean. The yard is a little unfortunate right now.
In the past, the lawns were green, the sprinkler system worked. They were playing volleyball in the backyard here every Friday. They'd have a barbecue after the volleyball game, and it was outside and very active. It was really excellent. They really need to have a good, beautiful outdoors that they can go to. It's limited, it's just the backyard and the front yard, but that is their park.
This lawn is dead now. It's gone. They were actually camping back here this summer on green lawn. They had pitched tents, and it was fun for them. Now you couldn't put a tent back here. This is terrible.
I don't like it out there because it's dry. I get hay fever, you know. I'm really sensitive.
We have a few cats. We have about 3 cats. And Smokey actually, he likes to sleep out in the yard. And if the grass was nicer, he wouldn't get those little stickers stuck in his fur like he does.
I don't go in the backyard much right now. I would go in the backyard more if the things were spruced up a bit.
Do you know what I would do? Sod and a small patio made out of brick with a fireplace and seating around it. And in the area where the decomposed granite is that we all sit together over our morning coffee, a small hood just in case it rains or anything that we can sit under.
I wanted a new backyard because I think we deserve it. We've been here for a long time, and I think that everyone will enjoy it.
When people are stabilized and loved and feel like they're part of a family, they show up not only in the house but in the community in a different way. That's another reason why this place, with the stability that it provides these residents, is critical. It's a critical resource for this community. And so the community, we want to also help step up and make this a place that's even better for the residents. And that will, I think, start with some money for this landscape.
Right now, this kind of environment to me feels depressing, and I feel like if I feel depressed coming out here, that my residents could be feeling that way, and so that really bothers me. And I want them to feel proud of their home, inside and out. And I know they would be outside more, which is not only good for their, a change of environment, it's good for their mental health, their physical health, all of it.
If this place could get a makeover, I would be ecstatic. I love this place. I helped paint it. I helped get furniture for it. I would be so joyful that I could walk out in the backyard and it's a green garden, just like the name, just like it was when my parents put this place together. I'd really like my mom's legacy to live on like that. It means a lot to me. It means my brothers could have had a much better life if they had had this available to them so that they could be the best they could be.
Everybody has to have a home, a place that they know is theirs. They feel safe, they feel protected. Everyone needs to experience that.
This place has been a godsend. I walk in that door and they're like, to me, family. They're like my son's siblings in a way. And I know when one of them's gotten a haircut, and they'll compliment me and offer me chocolate or whatever candy that they've got in their stash. They're kind, gentle souls, and they make you better just being around them.
You will benefit. The community will benefit. There'll be less homelessness, and the people handling the challenge of mental illness will be happier. And when you meet them, You won't even know that they have a mental illness symptom that they're dealing with. They're just charming people. I love them dearly.